first morning in Istanbul. I am obviously very jet lagged. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, couldn't fall back asleep. But the plus side of that was that I got to see the beautiful sunrise just right behind me. There's a view over the Bosphorus. Luckily also, there was just enough coffee in this Airbnb to make 1 cup. So I'm gonna have to do some shopping today, not just for coffee, but I've realized that I've come vastly unprepared for the climate here in Istanbul. I had already checked, I knew it was gonna be kind of cold, but the reality is I just don't have cold weather clothes in Bali, and it's not the kind of clothes that I make with my tailor because those types of fabrics just aren't available. So I think that the plan for today is first I need to find some kind of a shop. Ideally like a Uniqlo, but I checked and they don't have them here in Istanbul, so maybe a Zara or something, just to get some basics, like some long sleeve shirts that I can layer with, because I basically have only t-shirts, my 1 cashmere vest, a jacket, and a scarf, and it's really quite cold here. Properly caffeinated, I braved the cold to find the coffee shop selling fresh beans nearby. I thought they also served breakfast, but realized they were just a cafe and an ice cream shop. Google Maps told me there was a highly rated restaurant just a 15-minute walk away. I had no idea that meant 15 minutes and about 1,500 stairs. Oh my god. So first of all, that 15 minutes on Google Maps of a walk did not warn me that it would be about 400 stairs that I would have to climb up after going down a very precipitous slope. Meanwhile, I'm wearing boots that were not made for walking. And I finally arrived to this cafe. I go inside and there's cats everywhere. And I am actually super allergic to cats. Like, I can't breathe when I'm around them. My nasal passage closes up, I get hives, it's really bad. And I asked the owner, like, can I sit in a place where there's no cats? And he said, sorry, there's cats everywhere here. We have like 5 cats. And I knew that from prospecting on Tinder before I got here that Turkish people really like cats because all the men, or like 80%, pose with cats. Which, as a side note, men who like cats is a very weird thing to me, but regardless, I was not expecting them to also be in the restaurants, and so hence, despite the freezing weather, I'm sitting outside here because it's the only place where I'll be able to breathe and eat at the same time. Also, the menu is completely in Turkish, so Google Translate is really coming in handy. I've just ordered a very typical, actually, breakfast that one would have in Bali, which is an avocado toast with scrambled eggs on top and an orange juice, and I don't think that I'm going to be walking very much more in my neighborhood after that experience. On the other hand, I do think that I will not need to go to the gym if I keep walking, because it is definitely enough of a workout. You guys, it's so cold. Even though they turned on the space heater for me, this is what I've resorted to now, is using my scarf as a head shawl. My ears are freezing, my face is freezing. Mind you, I've been living in a tropical climate for the last 5 years. Actually, even longer if you count the time that I was living in Los Angeles. I have not felt cold like this since I lived in New York over 10 years ago. Actually, that's not true. I think I've been to Paris in the wintertime, but it's really cold. I'm not well prepared for this, and after breakfast, I'm headed to Zara, and hopefully they will have some warm weather accessories. So I've come here to this main shopping area. I think the street is called Istiklal or something like that. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it extremely wrong, but as I had said earlier, I needed to go to Zara just to pick up some essentials, which I did, including this beanie hat. It's so cold. I've got some sweaters and some other things. I may walk around here for a little bit, but I'm not sure how much in the mood for all of this crowd I really am. But today's objectives were more or less complete. I think I may actually go back to the apartment and chill for a bit before making a plan to figure out what to do next. Istiklal Street is actually a highlighted destination where you can find shops selling everything from local clothing brands to Turkish sweets, and in the midst of it all was a beautiful church. After admiring the fresco for a few moments, I walked back home. I'm back in the apartment after shopping, wearing a new sweater that I got from Zara, and I learned my second Turkish word today, which is kazak. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, and that means sweater. I also thought that since I've now been in Turkey for over 24 hours, I would give my unsolicited observation and opinion on the Turkish men that I've been talking to. So let's have a little story time, shall we? I signed up, as I said, for Tinder Gold a few days, actually I think like almost a week to a few days before coming to Turkey, with the expectation that I could sort of sow some seeds and lay the groundwork so that when I got here I could meet up with some interesting single guys, and what better way to explore a culture or get to know a culture than spending intimate time with someone. And I've had several connections and good conversations with people, and I'm finding though they're all flaky. Like, even you kind of make a plan with someone and then they say, oh, I have this other thing to do, and that's happened across the board with everyone, or they've just gone silent. And here you can have a good conversation with someone and then there's no follow through. At least, again, I've been here 24 hours. I really do hope that before I leave Turkey, I will have the chance to actually go on a date with a Turkish guy. Long story short, the Turkish guy I was supposed to go on a date with that night flaked, so I ended up on a date with a French guy instead. I suggested a rooftop restaurant called Moy's in Galata and was rewarded with incredible panoramic views of the city as the sun set. The menu was almost entirely beef and lamb, which meant my options were limited as I don't eat either, but I was happy to drink a glass of wine and enjoy the beauty of the city around. Getting home was a different story. I couldn't get a taxi from Uber, which ended up being a reoccurring theme throughout my time in Istanbul. Sometimes the driver would ask me where I was going and then cancel the trip, complaining about traffic. Ultimately, the restaurant had to find me a taxi, and I paid him double the fare because I was just so happy to get back home alive after he spent the trip watching TV on his phone and trying to figure out where I lived while speaking no English. Is that today I am headed to the Grand Bazaar. As you can see, I'm actually finally dressed more appropriately thanks to my Zara trip yesterday. I'm wearing 2 layers of sweaters, and then before I leave I'm also going to add a scarf and a jacket because it's about 50 degrees Fahrenheit today maximum, and with a chance of rain in the afternoon. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen, but I'm bringing an umbrella just in case. And the other thing that I wanted to mention was that when you come to Istanbul, do not bring fancy shoes, bring walking sneakers. Oh my god, my feet are in such pain from yesterday. The thing is that Istanbul is hypothetically a walkable city if you have the appropriate shoes, but yesterday I was wearing these custom leather boots that I made from the Bali tailor, and not only did the zipper in the back keep falling down, so I'm going to have to take them back to the Bali tailor to get that fixed when I'm back in Bali, but they have a 2-inch heel and they're quite narrow, and so they gave me blisters from the couple kilometers that I walked yesterday. So today I am definitely wearing my sneakers. Having had a poor breakfast experience the day before, I was delighted to discover a tiny gem in the Galata neighborhood called Dukhan. It's a literal hole in the wall, but serving excellent, healthy dishes with a super friendly staff. I was really lucky to get a table inside as it was packed with people even willing to eat on the cold terrace. I had a really hearty avocado toast with scrambled eggs and turkey that powered me through the entire day. After brunch, I walked around the Galata Tower, where the stone streets are lined with souvenir shops, vintage clothing, random stores, and, of course, some traditional Turkish fare. I decided that after breakfast, rather than take another taxi across to the Grand Bazaar, that I would actually walk. So I've just crossed the bridge that crosses the Bosphorus, and I actually recommend doing the walk. It's 30 minutes from Galata to the Grand Bazaar, but the walk across the bridge itself is an experience. There's all of these fishermen, and just it's a feast for the eyes. It's so incredible here, and to be surrounded just by this ancient architecture. The sky is very gray, but luckily still no rain, so we're just about 5 minutes to the Grand Bazaar, and then we will see what we see there. The Grand Bazaar begins before the official entrance, with shops selling mostly counterfeit designer goods lining the streets. Here, if it's fake branded garbage you're after, you can find literally every monogram represented. Inside the walls of the actual bazaar are beautifully frescoed ceilings that give the impression of having entered Ali Baba's Cave of Wonders. As for the shops, there are still more counterfeit designer sellers, but also sections that cater to art, to antiques, and my favorite, to gold. So I basically stopped into the very first gold shop that I found. As I had said earlier in the day, the only thing that I would be tempted to buy is another gold necklace. I'm just really obsessed with gold at the moment, and I had been looking for one. Both of these I bought in Bali, but I've been looking for one that's just a little bit longer, and so here they can actually make one that's a bit shorter but longer than this, so they have to just, I guess, remove a few links, and it's the only thing I promised myself that I'm going to buy here in this Grand Bazaar. The rest I'm just window shopping because I do not have space in my luggage and I really don't need anything, and I'm not a collector of random stuff. Part of the experience here when you come to the Grand Bazaar and you do shopping is to haggle for the price, though here I'm not doing that because the price per gram for gold is pretty much just, it is what it is. And also then they serve you coffee or tea, whatever you like. You have a nice little conversation. I've just been really scared, like, is this real gold? But they almost get offended when I question that, so I think it is. So it's pretty obvious I caved, but I can't say I spent too much for this new gold chain. Afterwards, I continued to amble about the cavernous alleyways to calls of, "Leather jackets? My friend, come look." Trying to leave the bazaar, I got stuck in what could only be known as a human traffic jam. I didn't want to take my camera or phone out to record because I was afraid in the melee it would get stolen or broken, but it was a literal mosh pit of bodies jammed together. I finally pushed my way to a side street and escaped to walk the rest of the way back home. Being that this was now my last full morning in Istanbul, it was imperative that I have a traditional Turkish breakfast. The experience didn't disappoint.
Yes.
Is there pita?
Pita?
Yeah.
Yes, this.
Yeah, also that.
Yes, okay, gifts. Give me.
Just, I don't know what to order. I'll, like everything, I guess.
No
you know?
problem.
Homemade jam?
Yes. Homemade jam. Okay.
What else? Oh, also could I get a pomegranate juice?
Pomegranate juice is finished. It's
Finish.
just only orange juice.
Okay, fresh orange juice.
Of course. Okay.
Anything else? I don't know. Okay, I think that's enough.
Yes, it's okay.
Yeah.
Finish it?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Where are you from?
I'm from America, but I live
America?
in Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Yeah, I live in
Yes.
Bali, you know?
Good. I am Turkey.
TK?
Yes, Turkey Kurdish man.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice to
thank
meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Istanbul.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Adios.
As I said, I don't even know what I ordered, but it's all come and it's all so far delicious. You're dipping the pita bread into the omelet, which is, or rather it's like a scrambled egg, but it's not a scrambled egg kind of style that I've ever had before. It's almost like a cassoulet, and it has cheese and it has mushrooms and it's absolutely delicious, and then the rest is like little garnishes that you can also have with the bread or the little pizzette or whatever these things are. I don't know the names of them, but everything is delicious. Like everything else has been in Istanbul so far. When you come to Istanbul, definitely bring your appetite in addition to your walking shoes. When I went outside, it was too cold to wander, so I headed home in a food coma.